What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success. And if you don't know who I am, I run a Canadian clothing brand called K-Bud that's doing well into the six figures in sales. So I help clothing brands like yours get really good results. And what I want to talk to you about in this video here is how I view most startup clothing brands that are failing. What I believe that this video is going to do for you is it's going to open your eyes and shine a light on the areas of your clothing brand that you can improve on. I believe deeply that most startup clothing brands have blind spots where they don't even realize all of the mistakes that they're making and all of the things that they could be doing to beef up their brand and get better results. So I think you're really going to enjoy this one. Here it is. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd, and if designs are something that you're just not that good at, I really recommend that you give them a shot. These are some of the best-selling designs on my website, and I got them all made through Design Crowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you, or simply use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. All right, so this video is going to be really cutthroat for a lot of you. And I think it's a really important message to get across because most of your clothing brands that I'm talking to right now won't change unless you hear a message like this. And nothing will improve, nothing will get better until you internalize this message that I have to share with you. And I really hope that I get the job done in this video by just sort of opening your eyes to all the ways that you could be improving your brand right now. So, the main thing that I see when I look at most startup clothing brands that message me on Instagram or they want to sign up for a brand review is that their brands are kind of blending in with all of the other brands out there. There are so many people starting up startup clothing brands right now, all the time, every day. It's so easy. Print on demand, Shopify, it's so easy to cook up a store and just start selling. And one of the main issues that I see is that people are trying to sell too much on the t-shirts alone, and their random idea that they came up with for their clothing brand, and they're spending way too much time trying to sell their t-shirts based on designs alone rather than actually building a brand and building value into their brand. So what's the difference here? What does this look like? Well, the difference is rather than just creating an Instagram account, posting your t-shirts on your Instagram account and trying to sell your clothing, instead focus on actually building a cohesive brand that makes sense to people, where there's a real purpose behind it with a real message and concept that people can sink their teeth into and understand. That's number one. And then beyond that, building value into the brand by slowly building up an audience over time, by creating value content, and by also trying to get onto celebrities and influencers so that you can raise your brand status, give your brand some credibility. And all of these things that go into building a real brand are things that I see so often people lacking. And what I really think that this comes down to hit the nail on the head, is most brands aren't applying a practical psychology to their brand, where they understand the real reasons why people are buying clothing, and then they're implementing strategies and things into their brand to actually make that work for them, right? So there's two parts to this. There's understanding the reasons why people buy, and I have a million videos on this channel about that. And, I also got into that sort of when this video just first started, talking about credibility, building a brand, adding value to your brand, having a brand concept that makes sense. All of that you need to understand, but then actually applying that in your experience and in action is unbelievably important as well. There's a great quote, which is, "The secret to success is to know something that nobody else knows." And I really think that this is one of those things that the vast majority, 98% of clothing brands that are starting up do not know and do not understand, is just how important things like having credibility and social proof inside of your brand is when it comes to being able to sell your clothing in volume. So if you're sitting there saying this might be my clothing brand that he's talking about, the way to make this work for your brand is to really understand how exactly your clothing brand is offering your customer value beyond just the designs themselves on the clothing and the name of your brand. Even if you're sitting there right now saying, yeah, but I buy clothing from brands literally just because I saw the design and I like the design, recognize that there's so much more that went into your actual ability to purchase and buy from that clothing brand, such as their website had to reach a certain standard in order for you to trust them. And when you went to their website, it looked good enough and the checkout process was clean enough that you believe that they're a legitimate company. Or maybe you saw the design on the t-shirt and you said, that looks sick, but actually the background was sweet, it was on a nice picture, the product mock-up was perfectly made, and there's all these other factors that are going into your emotional response around that design that you just saw. And these are the types of things that you really need to get a grip on as a clothing brand owner in order to make this work for your brand. Anytime you find somebody more successful than you are, especially when they're engaged in the same business as you, you know that they're doing something that you aren't. And that's a direct quote from Malcolm X. And this is the point that I'm trying to make. A lot of these brands that you look at where it looks easy, they make it look easy, actually have so much depth to them and so much going on beneath the surface that is contributing to their success. And honestly, straight up, like no filter here, this is what this looks like. Get out of this little fantasy land of making your posts on Instagram every once in a while of your t-shirts and thinking that you're going to become $1 million brand, because it's not going to work that way. You're going to have to get clear on exactly what your brand is. And some of this might actually require you to step back from everything that you're doing, all of the work that you're putting in right now, and really get clear on how your name ties into your brand concept, what exactly your brand concept is all about, how you're going to be able to communicate that clearly to anybody who stumbles across your brand that's within your target audience, how you're going to separate yourself from all of the other brands in a similar niche to yours. All of that is what's going to lead to you becoming successful. Even though it's this deeper layer stuff that isn't necessarily the little tedious front end stuff like design work and things like that, but where you're actually stepping back, going deeper into your brand, understanding the psychology, understanding exactly what it is that you're trying to do, the movement that you're creating, how it's connecting with people, and that connection with people is the most important thing. That's what's going to actually allow you to become successful. So when I view these brands that I see all over the place, and you've probably seen them yourself, all over Instagram, all over the place, there's new brands popping up every day. You know, what I think to myself is these brands don't have any idea what they're doing. They really don't know what the game actually looks like. Like, they haven't even really started to understand all the little details around what goes into building a successful brand. And that's what I hope that you're getting out of these videos here, and that your understanding is likely existing in your own brand right now. And honestly, even as I say this, there's parts of my own brand that are failing in certain ways like this. But the point here is just to be open and recognize that, you know, there's a whole other level to all of this, and getting clear on that is probably the most important thing that you can do if you really want to, you know, make a lot of money from your brand and become successful. Something that I want you to realize here is that 99% of brands don't get any results at all. Literally, they launch, they try to sell their t-shirts, maybe they sell some to friends and family. They never have the experience of what it's like to truly sell to strangers in any volume at all. Maybe they get like one person off the street that they're able to sell to, like, somehow. But most brands, like literally 99% of brands that start up, never get any customers whatsoever. So if you're able to do that at all, if you've gotten any customer base at all for your clothing brand, you're in like the top 1% of startup clothing brands out there, because most people have no idea what the hell they're doing. And it's very similar to musicians and rappers and things like that. Like, most rappers don't have anybody listening to them. Most, you know, people on TikTok playing guitar don't have anybody watching them. And having any sort of audience at all is an indicator that you have a grip on this a little bit, and that you're gonna actually, you just wanna keep chiseling that and peeling back the layers in order to really get to where you wanna go. So I hope that this message got across. I hope that it opened your eyes to how your brand could possibly be making mistakes right now and what it would look like to fix them. And just remember that the way of progress is not going to be swift or easy. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. So that's okay. Like, it's all right if, you know, this doesn't come to you easily, making these changes for your brand. That's not the point in this video. The point in this video is that to do the same thing over again and be ignorant to the reality of what it is that you're trying to do and what will really get results is the issue. And that's what I've tried to do in this video here, is just open your eyes to that fact, and I hope I did. If you got a lot of value out of this video, please hit the like button for me and let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. And if you haven't already, check out my free clothing brand marketing masterclass. All you have to do to get access is go to apparelsuccess.com/masterclass, and you can watch the whole thing for free. And if you've made it to this point in the video, I want to tell you about the closed Facebook group that we have for Apparel Success. There's a link in the description. Follow that link, join us in the group, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.